All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, the 1010XL app. We are live on Facebook as well. 1010's page, my own page. It'll be shared all over the place, all throughout the other platforms you check out podcasts, whether it's Spotify or YouTube. Or all over social media as well. You can catch all the great content that comes right out of this studio, the 1010XL Podcast Studios, which we are in this morning. This show brought to you by my good friends at Team Tommy Mack. Love every single business. We'll talk about them. We're talking carpet, we're talking meat, sausage, we're talking junk removal, veteran-owned and operated, getting you out of jail when you need to, and getting you an attorney when you need to as well. We'll talk about them, but let's first welcome in my man, Graham Marsh. Grammage is here. It's been a while again, Graham, but good to be back inside the 1010XL family studios. How you doing, bro?
Fantastic, sir. It's Friday.
Yeah, man.
It's Friday, and we have a full slate of ball ahead of us.
Can't wait. Started off last night, Thursday Night Football.
Started off last night. Great game. It reminded you, to me, what it reminded me of is, because I love college football. I'm a big Saturday guy.
Oh, yeah.
I do think, though, pound for pound, I like the NFL better, even though it is close. It reminded me why the NFL has an edge, which is the first reason is obviously you got the best players in the world.
That's right.
And also, man, the parity in this league is unbelievable, dude. So many college games. Yep. I love college, but so many games are blowouts.
Right. In
the league, man, this is a team that didn't make the playoffs versus a team that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
A team with a lot of expectations to make the playoffs. I get it. It's not some schmuck, but a 1-point game.
Yeah.
To kick off. How awesome is that, dude?
It was a great game. And look, at the end of the day, I mean, the athleticism is so close. That's why you never know in the NFL. When Florida plays McNeese State, they should kill them because they're better athletes than them across the border for the most part. But I thought it was great. It was a great game. Great way to kick off this season. I'll tell you what. I thought, you know what I thought of last night when I'm watching Patrick Mahomes? This is what I want to see out of Trevor. What Pat did with his feet last night saved his game. I mean, not that he was having a bad game, but look, who was he throwing to? I mean, Scantling caught, 2 passes? Blake Bell makes an appearance. Blake used to be on this team. You remember him? He was a tight end a few years back. Kelsey's out. Tony, you're not going to be able to count on Tony. You're just not going to be able. But there's not a whole lot like Sky Moore. What did he do? He didn't do much. They need some weapons. So for me, and if I'm Kansas City, I'm like, all right, we got beat. It's okay. They're a good team. There's no doubt. Detroit's a good team. But I feel pretty good about where I'm at. And I want to see Trevor take off like Pat does. Because that just adds another dimension. And Pat's fast as you know what, man. It's amazing how he gets out of dodge. Trevor has that ability too. Trevor can throw the ball with Pat. There's no doubt about that. He can run with Pat. There's no doubt about that. But I want to see that kind of Trevor ball. Because that, to me, when you got a quarterback that's both, that just, man, the rhythm, the confidence, it just keeps building and building. Who cares if you get a first down running for it or throwing for it? It's a first down, and we're moving the chains, and we're going down the field. But Pat Mahomes and his feet, man, were quite impressive last night, and I want to see that out of Trevor come Sunday for sure, man, without a doubt. Pat
just runs so smart.
He does, yeah.
And that's what makes him so good as a runner, because you're right, he is really fast and he's a good runner. He's not the best running quarterback in the league.
No,
obviously there's multiple.
You're not
guys
RPOing him in that regard, taking off and running.
But I would be willing to bet that if you asked defensive coordinators around the NFL, they would probably tell you that he's one of the hardest guys to defend when he scrambles. Because like, one thing about Pat Mahomes when he scrambles is, even if I'm not seeing the all 22 and seeing guys downfield or whatever and can't see, I'm relatively confident that if he's scrambling, it's because there's not somebody open downfield.
Yeah, right.
That he can
no,
hit.
Right, exactly.
Versus there's a lot of other guys that take off because that's what they're accustomed to, that's what they're good at, and they know they can get some yards, but they're probably leaving a lot of yards on the table, missing somebody downfield.
Correct.
I know that Pat is running because he has to.
Okay, I know what you say. So, like, a lot of guys will feel the pressure, and the minute number one's not open, they're out. That's not Pat Mahomes.
Correct.
Yeah,
and
I agree with you.
And Pat understands that. Like, for example, maybe I'm just using like I remember when he came to Jacksonville last year, Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Lamar misses a lot of open guys downfield, and he's such a good athlete that he makes up for a lot of that.
Yep.
But with Pat, again, I know that if the best play for the Chiefs is for him to sit there, take it on the chin, and deliver it downfield instead of run, he's going to do that.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
If that play is simply not there, but I can scramble and get 6 and keep the chains moving, he's going to do that.
He's a veteran. He's a savvy veteran.
He's so damn smart. Burrow has that same quality.
No doubt.
Burrow's not as good of a runner as Mahomes, but it's kind of the same thing.
He's sneaky fast, though.
He is.
Burrow is. He's a good athlete, that guy. And just got paid. Congratulations, Big Joe.
And to your point about Trevor and bringing this back to the Jaguars, Trevor he even had this his rookie year. He has really, really, really good pocket presence.
Ridiculously good.
And
escapability. He can escape.
Like the kind of pocket presence you can't teach. That's instincts that he just has naturally.
That's innate ability.
You can coach pocket presence, but I feel like not to that elite level. That's just something you have or you don't.
Agreed.
But I do think Trevor has always been pretty good at that decision making. But I agree with you that I think he can take it to that next level. Yeah. With the weapons he has and understanding when he should throw it, when he should take off. We've talked about this, and you were one of the first guys that brought it up last year. When he is willing to play a little bit of sandlot ball.
That's right.
And those are his best games.
At his best, absolutely.
That's when you see why this guy was called a generational talent, why this guy was the first overall pick.
No doubt. No doubt about it. I mean, look, you're going to see a one-read guy in takeoff on Sunday. His name's Anthony Richardson. That's what's going to happen and should. He's another guy that's going to be a weapon with his feet. And again, look, I look back at and we'll see how he is this year, and he got better last year. But Justin Fields, when he was with Chicago, and I would encourage this for young QBs in the NFL. If you got the goods to take off and run, like Jalen Hurts taking off and running for 70, you know what I mean? Like Lamar, whoever it is, Joe Burrow, whoever, Pat Mahomes, whoever it may be, and you take off. I'm encouraging that as a rookie. It's okay, because I don't want you to force throws. I don't want you to feel like you got to carry the team and the offense on your arm. You just got to make plays.
You have to make plays.
You just got to make plays. And if it's with your feet, it's okay. Just don't get killed. Don't get hurt. Don't take unnecessary hits. So you're going to see that this Sunday against the Jags. Before we get into that, I do want to take a quick look around the National Football League. Brought to you by Meat 55. Hey, on Monday, Jack's Beach, outside the Ritz. What are we doing? We're cooking burgers again. Yeah, we are, man. Courtesy of my friend Mark Wysocki in Riverbend Ranch. The best meat you'll have, just come on out. It's a free burger. We're going to drink some beers. We're going to be hanging out at the Ritz. Monday Night Football. It's going to be a good time. Just come on out and we'll say hello and
Bills Jets, right?
A good time. It is. It is.
What a damn game, bro.
Look, you got to credit the NFL for how they schedule the NFL season.
They're so good.
Sunday night, Giants and Dallas. Come on, who doesn't want? Even if you're not a fan of the team, like, all right, this is gonna be a good game.
Dude, last night was awesome. Chiefs Lions. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Well, you know, I tell you what, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm signing Chris Jones and give him the damn money.
Dude,
what are you waiting on? Because when I was watching Detroit, I'm like, keep pounding the ball. Like, pound that rock. I think you could really do some damage there. But let's take a look around the National Football League. We'll start with the AFC South. Houston at Baltimore. I expect Baltimore to be a really tough team this year. Zay Flowers, OBJ, Lamar Jackson feeling good about his contract. If he can stay healthy, which hopefully he can for their sake, I think they're going to be a tough out this year. I expect them to roll Houston, but I am interested to see what kind of team DeMeco Ryans puts out there in week one. Again, it's week one. You saw it last year with the Lions last year. You saw it with the Jags. There was a time where you're like, this isn't going good. This is not good. We're 2-6. We're 3-7. It's not happening. Something's got to change. The Lions were 2-6, and then went 8-2, I think. I think something like that. They finished very strong. Didn't make the playoffs, but so week 1, okay, you want to see where you're at, but I want to see what kind of team D'Amico Ryans rolls out there. Tennessee at New Orleans. I'm picking New Orleans at home. I'm not a huge fan of Carr, but I do like their defense. And look, Tannehill's coming back off the injury. He says he's ready to go. There could be some chemistry. There could be some things that needed to be worked out, and I think the Saints defense will eventually take over. So that's your AFC South look around, my man. I don't know. How do you see it? Grammage, Houston's not beating Baltimore. There's no way.
No.
Tennessee may give New Orleans a run for the money, with of course, Derrick Henry, and can they pound that rock? But nobody's afraid of Tannehill these days, and I wouldn't be if I'm the New Orleans Saints either.
It's probably because this was the team the Jags played when they were in this situation, but D'Amico Ryans and kind of kicking off his tenure with the Texans reminds me, it just brings me back a little bit to that 2021 game.
Okay.
With that Urban Trevor game. It was a disaster. I remember illegal formations all over the place.
Yes.
They couldn't get lined up. It was so bad.
Yep.
That is when you're a first-year coach with a rookie QB. If you lose, you're a first-year coach with a rookie QB. It happens.
Right.
But that type of game can't happen.
Can't be sloppy.
Where you got guys got no idea where to go. No one's lining up. That type of stuff is unacceptable in the National
at any
Football
level.
League.
Yeah, especially in the National Football League.
Correct.
I agree.
So
I agree.
If I'm a Texans fan and I'm a realistic one, I'm not going into Sunday thinking we're beating Lamar in Baltimore.
No.
But I'm saying, okay, you got to make some plays. You got to be competitive. You got to know where to line up. There's got to be.
It can't be sloppy.
Correct.
It can't be sloppy.
And you bring that back to. Sorry to cut you. You bring it back to last year. With Doug. They started the year off slow, sure, but they were losing close games, right? They were there.
They were one-score games. All of them were one-score games.
And you didn't get the feeling watching those games that they didn't know what they were doing and they weren't on the same page. You didn't get that feeling at all.
No.
So
but the execution wasn't great either.
It wasn't great.
Trevor's making bad throws. The defense wasn't getting off the field on third down. Those things contributed to the one-score losses.
Right.
Yeah. But it wasn't because they were sloppy and just out of sorts.
Right.
I agree with that.
So once that execution did get a little bit better and they did step it up that half a notch they needed to and started making those plays instead of conceding those plays at the end of the game, all of a sudden they were winning every game they played.
That's right.
And they were really good. So that is the difference. And if I'm watching my first year head coach with a rookie QB, I just don't need him to be making boneheaded plays.
Look, I'm beginning to believe my thinking on this more and more, and it varies per team. It's not every team, but when you've got an extra game and you have a shortened preseason, week 1 to me is almost an extension to get you ready for the regular season. Now, if it's sloppy, then you got a real big problem. But if you get beat, because of 3 or 4 things that you feel like you can clean up, you're not going to panic as a team. I don't care if you're a rookie head coach or not, rookie QB or coach or not. You go out there and totally crap down your leg. You're awful. You got penalties. You false start and you're going offsides. You're not lined up right. You got delay a game, all this crazy stuff. That's a different story. So,
but if one receiver runs a wrong route and it results in a pick,
we can clean that up. It's plays you can clean up. There are. You learn from them. And then hopefully the player can retain that and never allow it to happen again. I got 3 other games. We're not going to dive into it, but I'm interested. Miami at the Chargers. Tua, okay. Jiu-jitsu, great. Let's see you win a game on the road. He can learn how to fall now, so good for him. Hopefully he doesn't get hit too many times, but that'll be a great look. The Chargers, I tell you one thing, they're going to be fun to watch. I mean, Herbert's unbelievable.
Well, that's always
they add weapons. I mean, they're fun to watch. We'll see.
We're not worried about the Chargers this time of year.
No.
It's the January Chargers that if I'm a Chargers fan would.
That's right.
They scare the hell out of me. But the September Chargers are awesome.
Are phenomenal.
They're fantastic.
They're going to be. I wonder if that's a shootout. That'll be fun to watch. Dallas and the Giants, like we said, and then Buffalo with the New York Jets. Look, I want to see Rodgers. I want to.
Yeah, that's must watch.
Looks good on paper. Probably look good. I didn't watch a lot of New York Jets during the training camp. I didn't watch Hard Knocks. I didn't watch any of that stuff, but
I watched
sure looked
a lot
fine.
of Hard Knocks.
But it's game time. And he's got all the tools. We know this, but the chemistry, just know. We'll see. It'd be interesting to see how they start off the year. What a great matchup, though. Finish your Monday night with the Jets at home against the Buffalo Bills.
Really quickly, because you were in a locker room, so you would have a better perspective on this than me.
Yep.
But when I watched Hard Knocks, man, something I didn't like was, you understand Hard Knocks is going to have an infatuation with Aaron Rodgers and the media, and you understand that. We all understand that. That comes with the territory.
Yep.
If I were a Jets fan, though, what would have bothered me a little bit was the coach's infatuation with him. I get it. He's a great player. Right. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. I understand that.
Yep.
But Robert Saleh sitting there drooling over him, talking about how great he is. And it's like, you're coaching the team, bro.
Right.
I didn't like that. It was like last year, I don't know if you recall this, last year when Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson had their introductory press conference.
Yep.
Nathaniel Hackett was like, oh my God, that's Russell Wilson.
Oh.
Like almost fanboying about it. And it's like, and look at how that turned out. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen in New York, but
no, I know you're saying.
I mean, you think Doug was doing that when he saw Trevor Lawrence?
No, but he's done it. He's been around the block.
Doug was watching tape and said, look, man, you're really damn good, but you missed this and this and this. Let me get you better.
But let me make you better.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it was like that was weird to me. I didn't like that. So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
I didn't like the F-bombs coming from the head coach when he was talking to the team. I saw that clip.
Yeah.
You save that for your position coaches. They lay the F-bombs down. The head coach, maybe on occasion, but it was too many. It was almost forced. It felt like you're trying to be cool. The Phil Roushes of
the world need to be the ones with hoarse voices.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm a good F-bomb guy. I like F-bombs.
Big F-bomb guy.
You can't, force them. That felt forced to me. But we'll see. Look,
it felt defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Which is what
or the linebacker.
Before.
My linebacker coach would swear at us all the time. Whatever. I didn't care. Some guys didn't like it. And they tell him, and he'd apologize and try to do better. But I know I'd be having a lot of F-bombs just because that's just the way I am. All right, let's get into the Jags versus Indy. Brought to you by my good friends at Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds. I told you, 904-822-2245. You get thrown in the clink, he gets you out in a blink, period. Just put that number in your phone. Look, nobody wants to get in trouble. And I want you to be safe out there and smart, right? You don't drive drunk. You don't drive impaired. You just be smart out there. If you make a mistake, people make mistakes. It's okay. Make sure you're well protected. Make sure you have Chris Lucero bail bonds in your phone. 904-822-2245. The number one name in the bail game. All right, so Jags at Indy. How about this I didn't know I got a couple stats for you. I didn't know this. I was doing my research this morning. Couple things. Jags have lost 9 out of the last 10 at Indy. Did you know that?
I did.
Huh? Yeah, you
just
probably did know that.
It's been talked about.
Yeah.
Lot.
Well, I just, they've lost their last 5 as well up in Indy since 2017. Tell me that's not a firing point, not a firing point, a point of emphasis to tell your team, hey, look, the buck stops here. We got to change things. Anthony Richardson, 3rd youngest quarterback to start the year in the history of the NFL.
Wow.
He's the youngest starter in Colts history, and this is the 7th straight year that the Colts have a new quarterback since Andrew Luck.
Wow.
7 new QBs in a row. By the way, back to Denver. I loved what did you hear? We already knew what Sean Payton told Russell Wilson about getting everybody out of the building.
Stop kissing the babies.
Stop kissing the babies and Russell Inc. You got to quit worrying about Russell Inc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I remember I said that. Everyone was like, "No, it's not that." I'm like, I'm telling you, he cares about his brand more than his game, and that has to change. And for the Broncos' sake, I hope it does because it's going to have to happen. All right, this is look. I'm feeling 33 points. I put that out on Twitter. I feel really good about our offense's ability to score. Now, I still have to see it to believe it. I'm one of those. I'm not going to make excuses if they don't do it. It is what it is. Hopefully they get in some rhythm. I think they can look. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I think they're going to be able to throw the ball. The only question I have on offense is our offensive line. And it's not a big question. I just want to see them. I want to see the 5 together. I want to see Anton Harrison, who I think is going to be a tremendous player. He's got all the tools that you need. We know Scherf's going to be a beast. Fortner's look good. Bart's look good against Miami, but he's coming off an injury. Walker Little, we know the story, right? So I want to see these 5 take over a game up front. Now, it's not going to be easy. DeForest Buckner's a tough out. Shaq Leonard's a very good linebacker. You got Kwity Paye, the defensive end, that can do something. I mean, they're not loaded. They're weak in the secondary. They're not very good at corner, which isn't good for Gus Bradley's zone-style defense. How do you beat the zone? You keep your quarterback clean, and there are holes in the zone. I always talk about that. There's always a hole. It may be for a split second, but if you put the ball in the right spot at the right time, you'll make the completion against zone. Unless what? Somebody's in the face of my quarterback, either knocking the ball down or hitting them, then it's a problem. My offensive line this week has got to show me, look, I trust in Doug, I trust in Press, I trust in Phil Rauscher, the offensive line coach, but we got to see that. This is a great opportunity for this offensive line to get what? Confidence. Confidence that they can be one of the better offensive lines like they were a year ago. Think about that. A year ago, what was our biggest question? Offensive line. Our tackles. Nobody was totally sold on Cam and Jawan Taylor. And by the way, no disrespect to our Jags, but did nobody nationally ever watch our games and see Jawan Taylor jump early? He jumps early.
It is so funny, bro.
Does it all the time. I mean, now they're like, look at this guy. Look at it. We're like, did you not pay attention? He's been doing it forever.
A national phenomenon this morning and last night is hilarious.
Yeah.
Every Jaguar fan is like, yeah.
There were a couple times they did not snap the ball. I can't believe they let him get away. I mean, I'm okay with his jump.
He gets away with murder.
But there was a few times or 2 times at least the center didn't even move the ball yet, and he's moving, and they don't call anything.
It's insane.
That's you know what? I bet you it's going to change now that it's on a national scope. He's going to get called. I'd call him. I'd call him. I'm sorry, but nonetheless, what have you? We didn't think last year. We thought. Me personally thought he was okay, right? 75%. Cam was about 85% that you could count on. They played in the 90s. They did. Cam, before he got hurt, was playing some of his best football. Jawan Taylor was playing some really good football, of course, getting the big contract as well. So I trust in Phil Rauscher to get these guys ready, mentally, physically, and emotionally. You hear him out of practice. He's on his guys. Right? It's all about purpose. It's all about attitude. It's all about energy and technique and doing the right thing at a high level and at a very fiery type level. So I think we need to see that. And I think we're going to see that. Again, the offense, and Fat Tony said it best. He goes, come on, think about this pragmatically. Is there an outcome where you see the Colts scoring more points, outscoring this Jaguar offense? I do not. I do not. I think we're going to score points. The only thing I'm concerned about is our defense. And look, I know this. If I'm the offense of the Colts, especially if I'm the offensive line of the Colts, I'm getting after my O-line. Prior to last year, the Colts were considered one of the best offensive lines in the game. They were. Cowboys, Colts, Quentin Nelson, you kidding me? Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're unbelievable. You had the center, you have the right tackle who's pretty darn good. They're back. They have a lot to prove, in my opinion. No Jonathan Taylor. Zach Moss has got a broken arm. You got 2 guys out there, you don't even know who the hell they are. Trust me, I don't know who they are. Obviously, they're good players or they wouldn't be on the team, but it doesn't matter because if their offensive line pushes our defensive front around, which happened way too much last year, that's going to keep our offense off the field. And I know we're sitting there going, we'll just outscore them. We'll just outscore them. And we talked about this on Jaguars today. I said, but wait a minute. What was the negative about our defense last year overall? Grammage, you can answer the question. What was the number one stat that they were bad at that really affects the outcome of a game?
I believe it rhymes with ass rush.
Well, right, which contributes to this. Third down efficiency, right? Third down. Getting off the field. Oh, I totally screwed that up. getting off the field on third down, which does what? It gives you the opportunity to give the ball back to your offense. So think about this. If I can give this offense that we're so excited about, that we believe are going to score a lot of points, if I can give them on average one more possession per game, that has tremendous value, doesn't it? That's all I want. I don't need a top 5 defense. I don't. Don't mistake me. I don't need to lead the league in sacks, but I need to be better on third down. They are at about 42%. Give me 35. Give me something where I know I'm going to give you the ball back. Right? I'm not talking about turnovers. I'm not talking about, we need that too. But I'm talking about when it's third down and you need a stop, you give that ball back to your offense. If you could get that, that's tremendous value. That's what I want to see out of my defense for 2023.
3rd and 5 need to result in more 4th and 5 punts.
Right.
3rd and 5 way too often last year resulted in
first down.
7 yards, keep moving. This defense last year, because remember going back to 2 years ago, probably the biggest complaint about the defense, the whole team was bad that year, but probably the biggest complaint is that defense just created no turnovers.
Yeah.
Last year they fixed that. They got a ton of turnovers last year.
They did.
But to your point, the consistency wasn't there. You were getting game-changing turnovers, which is awesome.
Yep.
But if you can get a couple of those turnovers and just get a couple of stops on 3rd and 4 and 5 and 6, man, all of a sudden that's a formidable defense. It's not the 85 Bears, but it's a formidable defense.
No doubt. And it changes the momentum of a game.
100%.
Especially if you're getting driven on, and then it's 3rd and 5. Like, say they've gotten a couple first downs, and it's 3rd and 5, and man, it's 4th quarter, and they're getting in field goal range, and I need to stop. Is it pass rush? Is it just stop at a screen? I don't care what it is, but it's getting off the field, and that's what you need out of a defense today. You don't need to be the number 1 D, but you got to give your ball back to your offense so they have a chance to score, because it's all about scoring. It always has been. We know this, but we know that it's all about whipping that ball around and throwing for big yardage and big scores.
And facing a rookie QB in his first ever NFL game.
Yep.
One thing I can guarantee you about Anthony Richardson is if he's allowed to get more plays under his belt, the chances of him getting into a rhythm and getting confidence are higher.
Right.
But what I can guarantee you is if the vast majority of the first half is 3 plays, sideline.
Right. 6
plays, sideline. 3rd and 3, incomplete, sideline.
Yep.
If he's having to constantly run on and off the field because they can't sustain drives, I know he's going to struggle.
Confidence will go down.
I know that.
I agree.
There's a really solid chance he's gonna give me one and throw me a pick.
Right.
He's gonna. Even if he doesn't, if he just the likelihood that he and Michael Pittman get a little something going is much lower. The likelihood that even without Jonathan Taylor, they get a little read option game going is much lower. That is an offense that needs some snaps and some reps to get into anything because it's not a super talented offense. It's not nearly explosive as ours.
Right.
So if to your point, 3rd and 4, step on their throat, get them off the field.
Yeah.
They won't get into a rhythm.
Well, I got to believe that, and I love what Doug Peterson said about how do you scout. Did you see what he said about how you scout Anthony Richardson, a rookie QB, for the first time?
No, I didn't see that.
You scout the coaches, who they've coached, where they've coached them, and how they coach them. I thought that was brilliant. Like, that's really diving deep. Like, you think, no, we're just going to watch tape of Anthony Richardson. No, we're going to watch tape of coaches that had a player similar to and how they coached them, what play call, that kind of stuff. I thought that was really, really impressive. Doesn't surprise me because Doug is that guy's cerebral. You know what I mean? That's why he's so calm, because he's so cerebral, man. He can figure this stuff out. But I thought it was his understanding history of coaches, where they've been and whom they've coached. That's how you scout a player you don't know that much about. You look at their coaches. But this is what we're going to see out of Anthony Richardson. First read throws and them trying to get him in open spaces so he can use his legs, right? I don't think they're going to do any read 1 to 2 to 3. I don't think they're going to try to simplify this game. Now, What did the Chargers do in the playoff game against us in the first half? Because guess what we were doing back then? First read throws, a lot of them, right? That's how Trevor got back into his game when he was struggling. Doug simplified it. He said, all right, listen, we're going to get him open. It's your first read. If he's there, take it.
Just get
not there, either run, throw it away, or whatever. But just take it if it's there. I'm going to make sure that the probability that it's there is there. Steichen's going to do the same thing with AR. But what do? You sit on those routes. So this could be an interesting. I'm interested to see what Mike Caldwell does with Anthony Richardson. What do you need? What I would do against a rookie QB, I would attack him. And I try to confuse him at the same time. So while I'm attacking him, I'm confusing him. Because when you don't know where you're going to get hit, it's like, remember when you were young and you had a pillow fight in the dark with and you didn't know where that thing was coming from, and out of nowhere it's like, whoop-ah, you catch one right in the noggin. I grew up with brothers. They would always attack the youngest with those damn things, and there was no mercy. But that's what, and then you're kind of, now you're sketchy. Now you're like, oh, geez, I can't see none. You talked about pocket presence. You know what makes great pocket presence? You don't see freaking ghosts. You don't feel ghosts. They're not there. It's not there. Quit looking at the pressure. Just feel it, right?
Blaine Gabbert used to see ghosts.
Oh, of course he did.
Oh my
you don't
God.
want to see ghosts. So you want to get to a point with that he starts seeing ghosts. Although if I'm Shane Steichen and company, and it's Jim Bob Cooter, isn't it? Who's the offensive coordinator?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm street ball. If I may, same deal with I feel with Trevor. Trevor's way more apt to make passes happen. So I'm not comparing the two. But street ball, take off and run. Hey man, it can help you. But
well, I would also take a page out of Gus Bradley's playbook a little bit defensively if I'm Caldwell, because watching Anthony Richardson last year and knowing it is a continued thing, Danny Thompson, who trains him, he has said this in the past. They've worked on it a bunch, but it's still a thing.
Yep.
One of Anthony Richardson's biggest struggles, and everybody has their flaws, just one of his, is short area accuracy has always been an issue with him. And it happened at Florida all the time. Screen passes.
Right.
Throwing it over their head, and they can even if they catch it, they got to adjust, and by the time they catch it, there's 3 defenders there. Trevor's always been really good at that type of stuff.
Right.
Underneath routes that are 5 yards away. The guy can throw the prettiest 75-yard bomb you've ever seen.
Right.
But the 5-yard slant is not on point. And in the league, you cannot miss those throws.
Yeah, Leftwich was like that. Leftwich could throw a beautiful bomb. And he could throw deep digs down the middle and all that, but his touch passes, they didn't have much touch on.
You just said the word. It's touch.
Yeah, touch.
A lot of it is touch. It's almost like in basketball.
Right.
Basketball, you get a turnover, you got a wide open layup, you got to slow down the last second or two and make sure it's a similar thing.
Yep. Right. It's touch when you throw the alley-oop at the right time, at the right height, and bang.
It's being able to... if you always want to play 100 miles an hour, it's being able to take yourself down to 97 so you can just make sure you get that exact precision you want. Because I'm telling you, you know this as well as anybody. In the league, you cannot be off on those throws.
No.
Because there are not nearly as many big chunk plays to be had as there are in college.
Yep.
So when there's 5 yards to be had, you better get those 5.
Yeah.
When there's 8 yards to be had, you better get them.
There was a throw last night early in the game. They showed it from the end zone angle where Pat Mahomes, when he threw it, it was almost a shock. But he threw it at the right time, at the right touch. I think it was Scantling coming over the middle. And before he was clear, there were 2 defenders right here. He didn't try to fit it in between them. He threw it over here to where he was going to be wide open.
Let him run to it.
And it was perfect timing. I was like, wow, to have that kind of touch, like that kind of feel for the game, where to throw it. No, AR is not going to have that. Trevor has that. Trevor has that big time. He knows where to place that ball. Look, I also think our linebackers, and Doug said it too, you got to be on point. Oluwakin and Devin Lloyd, and if Muma's in or whoever's in there at inside backer, you got to be on your reads, right? You got to be able to tell if the running back's got the ball, if AR pulls it, if he slips out the backside. Also, my outside guys, very disciplined. We can't have what we saw out of Abdullah that was it against Miami, right? Where he or maybe it was a game before where he tunnel vision, right? See the back go down and then the quarterback comes out. You don't want Anthony Richardson all alone coming out the back end with nobody but maybe a corner there to try to take him down.
Go watch last year's Utah game.
You watch out for that. That's going to be a problem.
Go watch last year's Utah game.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, you do not want that to happen.
Right.
Every time when he runs and he says, screw it, yep, I don't care about anything else, I'm running this football.
Yes. And
he can get an edge.
Yep.
He's a guaranteed 15 yards minimum.
Oh, yeah. He'll take it to the house, man. He'll take it to the house.
He's that fast. He's that big. Yep. He's that strong. He's the best athlete I've ever seen wear a Florida Gator uniform. And that's saying a lot.
Percy?
I think he's a better athlete than Percy.
Well, he's bigger than Percy.
He's not a better football player.
No, right.
He is nowhere
right,
close.
I see what you're saying. Right. But as an athlete.
I'm talking straight up, wide open field, and nobody can catch me. He's like that.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely right. How do you negate that with him? Because it happened time and time again. You get in his head.
Yep.
You get in his head. When he starts kind of feeling like he's seeing ghosts, it looks like there's 14 defenders on the field.
That's right.
That's when he doesn't do that stuff as effectively.
Agreed.
Because he's thinking a little bit extra.
Too much.
He's not doing that. So the games last year at Florida where he didn't have to think and he was just playing ball.
Yep.
He was arguably the best quarterback in the country outside of Caleb Williams.
No, I agree.
But
I agree.
Any time that he made a mistake early and had to think a little, or got sacked early from behind and had to think a little bit, he really, really struggled mentally.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree with you. You don't want it's like anything else, man. When you start making plays, you start feeling really good. You get in a zone, you start feeling really good. I can remember games in college just feeling like I was going to make every tackle. And I'd make like 20 tackles, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
You feel faster. You
feel like, I'm just in the flow. I'm reading well. I see the ball clearly. Nobody's fooling me. I'm slipping blocks. I'm getting to the back. I'm making plays on the ball. You don't want that out of Anthony Richardson. So you negate him. That'll get in his head. Right? I mean, if you stop him, so you do have to be disciplined. You have to be very disciplined on defense, especially my backers, on how I'm going to contain. And if you think about the 4, right? It's like a W, right? Think about the 4. You keep him within the 4.
Yep.
And if you're third coming this way or third coming that way, I hope I'm demonstrating this right, don't overrun him. You're the one that's got to be inside out to him, because if he cuts back and there's only one guy left, it's a big problem. Right?
And I'll say this too: we have, this podcast included, and anybody that has an opinion on the Jaguars has been really, really critical of these two guys, and rightfully so. But against a quarterback like Anthony Richardson, I'll tell you what, I'm damn happy that I have Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker as my outside linebackers. Yep. Because those guys are big, they're physical, and they
athletic.
Got speed.
Yeah, they're athletic too.
Those are...
They just got to be disciplined.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I think Josh is a little more disciplined than Trayvon, but Trayvon in his second year should be better at that. And I don't mean penalties. I mean responsibility. So, like, I heard it was Caldwell earlier on the Jaguars Today show. He's like, look, if ball goes away from me and I'm the outside backer, I'm just going to generalize some. Ball goes away from me, quarterback, running back go away from me, and I'm not outside backer. And he hands the ball or he goes to the running back, whether he hands it off or not, where am I going? I'm going to my responsibility first. Does that make sense? So even if he hands it off to Zach Moss and here comes Anthony AR coming out the other side, my outside backer that he's coming out to has to take a look. You don't have to be a robot and be like, okay, I got him, and the ball's way over here. But you have to make sure he doesn't have the ball before you go over there. You let the other 10 go over there, or the 8 or whatever, right? Because you got the other guys on your end. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's disciplined football. And that's what you're going to have to get out of these guys. Look, I expect the Jags to win this game. I expect them to score a lot of points. I do. And if they don't, who cares? I just want them to win this ball game. Let me tell you something. Like I said earlier in the show, Kansas City don't feel bad. They lost by 1 point. They could have won that game. They probably should have won that game without who? Two of their best players and two of the best players in the entire NFL. And they were a little off, and they were a little rusty.
Besides Mahomes, it is their two best players.
Right, exactly. Well, besides Mahomes, of course. Of course. So, look, at the end of the day, I don't want that outcome. I want a victory. But if it's a 1 point victory, hey, that's okay. We clean things up. It won't be sloppy. Doug Peterson doesn't have a sloppy team. He hasn't had one, so I wouldn't expect that. I'd expect this to be on point for the most part. I just want to make sure, and I know I'm old school. I'm always old school. But my defensive linemen and my offensive linemen have to control the line of scrimmage. And I want to see that because that'll make you a complete team. We know the skill positions are good. We know our secondary's good. Our linebackers can all run. They're all athletic. They all can. If you take a size and speed ratio, we've got some really badass linebackers, all four of them. You know what I mean? Lloyd's big and tall and fast. So Lewican's not that big, but he is fast as all get out and very athletic and very good in open space. We already talked about. I told you when the Saturday practice at the stadium, I purposely went down to just because at camp we never got over to that far field to watch them. And I'm standing there looking at Trayvon and Josh. I'm like, those are like defensive end big playing outside backer. That's not just an outside back. These guys are big,
with speed
big dudes,
too.
With speed and athleticism.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like that, you can't. It'd be tough to draw up a better linebacking core to go against Anthony Richardson than the four we've got that are going to start.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying they're not perfect.
No,
linebackers,
I know you say.
You get what I mean.
Athletically, athletic wise,
speed, lateral quickness, size.
Yep.
There's nothing. There's no physical. Physically, I'm not worried.
Right.
Right. I watched it in college. I watched Anthony Richardson play against Trayvon Walker in college.
Right.
Anthony Richardson didn't do very well.
Right.
To be fair, Trayvon had 10 other guys that were probably going first round too on his defense. True. But you get what I mean.
I do.
If there's a type of guy Anthony Richardson is not running away from, it's a Trayvon Walker type of dude.
Yep.
A ginormous guy that's somehow even bigger than Anthony Richardson, which Anthony Richardson's huge, by the way.
He is.
And fast. Yep. Even if AR has a little bit of an angle on Trayvon,
yep,
I'm confident that AR is not just going to cook him up the sideline and go get 50 yards.
Well, you're also confident in the cavalry coming because I'll tell you 100%. One thing, our defense can run.
Yes.
They're very, very fast.
Yes.
Yeah, the speed has been upgraded, offense and defense, without 100%. A doubt. There's speed everywhere. Offense is loaded with speed. Incredible. Bigsby, ETN, you got Ridley, you got Ingram, Kirk's fast, Zay Jones looks fast. They're fast. They are. Their defense is fast as well. So we'll be interested in seeing that. All right, I'm going I called 33-21 for a score. The other guys had like 13. Look, I don't think we're going to hold them to 13. I'm not that confident in our defense. I'm more confident in the fact that AR won't do well as opposed to our defense doing that well, but I think we hold them enough. And again, I think we score a lot of points. So 33-21 is my prediction. Graham, you want to throw a prediction out there, brother?
Give me 31-14.
Yeah, see, a lot of people about the same. We feel like I love how we just throw out 30 points like it's nothing. The league average, I think the highest was, 28 last year, something like that. 30, 31, 33, whatever. We just going to score a ton of points, and it's going to be great. No doubt about that. Hey, when you get a chance, visit Team Tommy Mac. It's all over social media. Don't forget Azar Sausage, homegrown and down home. They're local. They process local. They're in Winn-Dixie. They're in Publix or in other grocers. I had breakfast this morning with former mayor, my good friend Lenny Curry, at the Southern Grill. Southern Grill, what do they use? Azar Sausage, they sure do, man. Make sure you check them out as well. J-Dog Junk Removal, you see, they've got me a shirt that fits. I haven't lifted in like a week and a half. I feel like a wet. I just don't feel good. The confidence is down. I'm not walking with swag. I'm trying to like just get by. I'm going back to the gym today. I may even wear this J-Dog shirt because it fits so good. But J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling, hey, keep them in mind for storm cleanup. And hopefully the storms passes by and everybody's all good. But if not, and this is up and down the Eastern Seaboard. If you're not here locally in Jacksonville, they have offices all up and down the East Coast. And they will come and clean up and help you clean up your storm, any kind of damage whatsoever. Veteran-owned and operated. They're always looking for veterans. So check them out at jdogjunkremoval.com. Listen, travel this week. Holy cow. I took, on the way home, 81 South. Have you ever done 81 South from New York through Pennsylvania down? Oh, it's a tough drive. Don't get me wrong. Then you get south on 77. You go through the Virginia mountains and down into the North. Beautiful, beautiful. Semi after semi after semi after semi. And by the way, semi, I love you because you're delivering our country's good. So I thank you for your job as a truck driver. But when you guys, 2 lane, you're together,
it's the
like,
worst.
can you please? Yeah, I know what you're doing. You're holding up guys like me who just want to get there fast. And it's 2 lane and there's nowhere to go. And you're just like, oh my gosh. Well, let me tell you something.
Trucks should never be in the left lane.
To pass is fine, but pass and get the hell back over and then move out of the way. It's fine.
Who the hell are you passing?
Yeah, they're semis that won't get off the governor or something. I don't know. But nonetheless, truck accident law firm, they are the dream team of handling truck accidents. Check them out at truckcrashlaw.com. Good friends of mine. They do it right. They're all about safety. That's number one. They want vehicle safety. They don't want crashes at all. But any involved with a bus, semi, you name it, big vehicle like that, make sure you check them out. And, of course, my LVP, man, Carpet Man Flooring, not just vinyl planking. I'm talking tile, hardwood, carpet, highest quality of all of it, lowest prices as well. Make sure you check out Carpet Man Flooring, home of LVP. Carpet Man's LVP. Want to thank 1010XL for having me here on their podcast platform. It's a great part being a part of the family. No dad bods this week, but next Friday, dad bods out at Iggy's Patio. That's right, down in Fruit Coast. So come and join us next Friday. But hey, Sunday, I'll be on the pregame show here at 1010XL. Did you know that, Grammage? I'm doing 8 to 10.
Yes, sir.
On away games. Only away games. So we'll make the debut this Sunday from 8 to 10 with Mia O'Brien and Hayes Carline. I think Frank Frangie and others are going to call in and check in, and that'll take you to 10. And then, of course, Dempsey and Company take you the rest of the way with JP and all the good folks, Joe Fortunato and all those great people, Fat Tony as well, that help out with the pregame. All right here on what? The official station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nice how it all comes together. All right, until next time, stay safe and be cool out there. We'll catch you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace and love.